Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Charisma and I'm going to catch you up to what has been happening to me and my family for the past, let's just say, year. I worked at a hotel chain, motel, inn, whatever you want to call them. They're basically the same. I worked at Hilton hotels, Hilton inns, whatever, to owners who lie to get you into a position and to managers who are racist and will find any way to get you to quit your job. So, first let's start with Linda Malarkey. That was her last name, Malarkey. She was probably one of the most racist people I have ever met. She would say that, I have on recording her saying that she does not want to work with anybody who is not English speakers. Flat out, she will refuse to work with them. She will not walk away if they do not speak English. Even though we worked in an equal opportunity company. So, there's that. Secondly, she could not understand a new program, like at all. She was dumber than a box of rocks when it came to this new program because she was on the old program for so long, even though the new program literally spelled it out like a dummy. It was the easiest program to learn, but for her it was so hard. And so she didn't want to work front desk because it was too hard for her front desk. So they hired somebody else. Annie, I love her. She was amazing. Anyway, she told Annie that she was not going to allow me to train her, and because I didn't do the program right, even though the things came out the exact same. And she's the one that told me to type up how to do these things and where to find the files and reports so she can learn. But I was doing it wrong. Anyways, so fast forward a month and a half, 2 months after Annie got hired, I found out I was pregnant. And then, so my manager has been trying to get me to quit for over 2 months now. And then I find out I'm pregnant, and I got sick and I called out, but not knowing that when the person who I messaged, which was Annie, who was working that shift, that so I messaged Annie, and not knowing that she called out herself to request me to sign me out for the day, I was marked as a no-call, no-show. Even though I did message someone to tell them I was not going to be in. So, there's that. They marked me as no-call, no-show, and I came in the next day, and they're like, oh, well, don't clock in, blah, blah, blah. So, I tried to explain to Charles, to show him the text message that I text Annie and to let her know that I was not coming in. I lost my voice. He's like, well, you should have contacted me. He is not someone that's usually in when I'm in or really takes care of that at all. That is Linda Malarkey, and I've texted before and she said that I have to call in even to let them know. So I did not text Linda that day and let her know that I lost my voice. I texted another employee. So like I said, it was just miscommunication that in terms said that I was a no-call, no-show. Since I lost that job, it was hard for me to find another job, so I went back to school. Now, I was doing cybersecurity and I was not learning. Honestly, the program I did, I could literally just answer the questions and retake it until I passed it with 100%. I was not learning anything. And when it came to the time where I was supposed to be solely implementing the pieces that I've learned past to new things, I just wasn't doing right. I failed a class twice, and then I failed another class due to a completely different reason. So I was doing school and looking for a job. Okay. So, I did end up finding a job in March at a restaurant, fast food place here called Chipotle. So if you're from America or you know of Chipotle, that is where I work, and it's just down the street from my new house. So that is the whole situation with the job and everything like that. So on to part 2 of what's happened. A new neighbor and how we got released from our lease and kicked out of our apartment. So come November, so I was let go from my work in October. come November, we got a new tenant, a new neighbor who lived above us, and she was loud. She would stomp everywhere, stomp up the stairs. Her dog would be barking constantly, running across the floor. She would stomp. Like, she would move things, vacuum. Like, at the weirdest times. Like, at 10 o'clock at night, she's moving something or dropping something or stomping around her apartment. And it's 10 o'clock. It's past 10 o'clock at night. So I'm trying to sleep. My husband at this point is working a third shift job because we felt that it was better for him to work a third shift job, me a first shift job when I can get it. So we didn't have to rely on anybody doing any daycare for our newborn, because honestly we just don't trust people. So the neighbor upstairs, she would stomp and stomp and stomp. And in December, a month after she moved in, I'm like, okay, it's too much. I messaged our landlord, be like, hey, is there anything that you can do to help have her like stop stomping or anything like that? She's making it extremely hard for us to get rest. Like, day and night she stomps, her dog's barking. No response. Then about 2 weeks later, I messaged him again, hey, is there anything that is being done about this? It's really hard for us to sleep. It is really uncondoning for us to have a normalcy, have a schedule or anything like that. Nothing was replied back. Then about a week later, we get a letter in the mail saying that our lease will not be renewed, and that we have to the end of the lease to move out. And so this was the February 2nd we get this letter. By the end of March is our lease is up. So we are frantic. The market out there is crap. My husband just started a new job. He's only like 3 months in, so he doesn't have like the 4 months or whatever. So we're applying, everything. Nothing. Come March 1st, we decide that we're going to reach out to a realtor to see if there's anything that they can find us that possibly, because his credit was decent, we could get something small. Nothing for about a week, and then she reaches out, hey, I might have this thing for you. Were you guys still interested in it? And we said yes. We moved forward. We started the process. The closing was not until until May 3rd. That was the day that it was supposed to close. So, come to find out, our landlord wanted to just fix up a couple things and renew the apartment for like a $70 raise or whatever a month, which we would have been perfectly fine, but he did nothing about it. The other tenant is upstairs. Come to find out that the landlord, if you complain about another tenant, you are the one kicked. He does not do anything about it. He doesn't care, because he can get someone else in at a higher rate or whatever. So that is what happened. We spent April to May living in a tent. Not even a lie. We lived in a tent. I was at this point 9 months pregnant, because I was due in May. So from April to May, we lived in a tent, and I was pregnant. So we were cautious and worried about what was going to happen to all that. So that is how we lost our apartment and how we got a new house. Part 3 of what's happened. Getting this house. The issues that we had getting this house were so, like, not even right. Like, our realtor, bless her soul, she was a godsend. I absolutely love her. She did everything she could to get us this house, and we ended up getting this house. But the seller and the tenants who were renting the house from the seller before us were a living hell. So we come to view the house, and we liked it. We had no issues with it, and it was fine. We could make it work for our family that's soon to be 4. So we come in, and the lady that lives here, she's like, oh, there's mice here, and there's one mouse trap laid down in the basement. And I look, and it's not even set. So it's not even set or anything like that. And then come to find out that they were it was really messy when my realtor first walked this place with somebody else. Like, you could barely see the floor. There was so much clothes everywhere, and it was just making it really hard for the seller to sell the property. So I turned to my landlord, the realtor, and my husband. Like, they're probably saying this stuff so they don't have to get out and the house doesn't get sold. So it gets closer. Everything's in play. It's come mid-April, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have a place. We'll be out by the end. We'll be out." Come to find out, they lied about it. They did not have a place at all, and that they basically weren't getting out. So it was coming to um, the beginning of May, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, we don't have a place. Sorry, we lied." And all this other stuff. So the seller was trying to talk to somebody to get them out. He didn't want to go through the whole eviction or anything like that, because that can take up another 3 months. And by then I would have had my baby. So my realtor, she, like I said, was a godsend. She was able to find a place for them to lease out. So they leased out through that, and they said they will be out this Sunday. Now, we've already pushed back the closing date, so they said they will be out this Sunday, 2 days after the original date, because that was in the stipulations from the other apartment or whatever that they were getting. That they had to do is they had to be out of this place that weekend, so we can move in the following week. They weren't out at all. Like, Sunday comes by, they're not out. Monday comes by, and the our realtor comes here to see how much they had left to get out, and they only had like half their stuff out. So she basically helped them move, because she knew I was coming up on my due date, and the seller's realtor was helping them move. So they helped. We went to go finish our. Then they say, "Oh, we'll be done by noon. We'll be done by noon," which gave us an hour, which is about how long the signing stuff all works out. So we went to go sign for our our paperwork, to basically the loan and everything like that. And we come back here. It's about 12:30. They are still not out. So we basically stood there for probably about another hour till they moved everything out and got everything out. We did final walkthrough and everything with them still here when they should have been out for us to do it, and it was just hell. So we finally got our own place. We have a house, and then 2 weeks later, this little thing comes into our lives. So yeah, that's basically caught up to where we are at now. I'm still doing school. We're still trying to unpack in this house and get it all situated. It's still pretty messy. We are figuring it out. And I went back to work not too long ago. And yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just trying to figure it out. So now you guys are caught up and everything. And I will let you guys, I'll bring you along for more adventures with us. Until next time.